Hey, Grace, you've better know what you've done. What kind of nerve do you have to abandon your duty as a wife and cause trouble for William? You're a terrible wife. I'm gonna give you some lessons. Well, Mother, I have my reason for leaving. It doesn't matter. We're going to move into a new nice apartment. If you want to come living with us, I'll tell you where the new place is. I'm sure my mother-in-law still doesn't know anything. Well, it's a good chance for me that she knows nothing. No. Thank you. What? My name is Grace. I'm a 35-year-old office lady. My husband William and I have been married for 5 years. He's now 40, 5 years older than me. I used to go out with older guys, but I was attracted to him because he was generous and kind. And our relationship went well, so we got married. Our marriage was sort of satisfying. But a few months later, a shadow began to appear over our peaceful life. I got fired. William was suddenly laid off. The reason was the company's business condition had worsened due to the recession. I had never imagined that William would be let off because he worked for a big company. I thought that we would be able to live without worrying about money, and this will continue to our late life. But it seems that nothing is certain in this world. We became stressfully poor. I was a housewife, but I decided to start work right away. I contacted the company I had left before I got married. Luckily, they agreed to hire me. Apparently, there was an employee who had just left the company to have a baby. I was relieved to know that at least we had another income. If William could find a new job, we would be fine. But it's not easy for a middle-aged man to find a new job. William had no choice but to work part-time as a day laborer. His salary averaged about $700 a month. Someone like me getting back to work should expect that the salary won't be too high. We're barely making ends meet. Hey, the rent here is too high. Can't we move out? I think it's better to find a cheaper place and save money. To make our life easier, we need to lower our fixed costs. Up until now, William had high income and we worried nothing about money. We've been living in a nice apartment, but I think we should take a hard look at the reality and move into an apartment that costs less. But my idea was rejected firmly. No, we're not moving out there. Why not? If we move to a smaller, cheaper apartment, Mom will ask me why. So what? Why don't you just tell her the truth? We're having a hard time making ends meet because you don't have a job now. When I said that, he turned red and raised his voice. Don't ever tell my mother I'm unemployed. Your salary and my earnings are enough to pay the rent. Let's just leave it at that. I was surprised and confused at the same time. You care more about your pride and your house than you do about protecting your marital life? Even if we could afford the rent, we still have a hard time making ends meet. That's why I came up with this idea, because we couldn't save any money at all. But William insisted and didn't give in. I had no choice but to give up for once. After that, life continued to be difficult. Especially one day, William made an unbelievable comment to me. Hey, this is all we have for dinner today? You used to have a lot more dishes. Just because you started working doesn't mean you don't have to do your duty. Don't be lazy to manage this. William's words made me angry, so I retorted, I have no choice. We are struggling to make ends meet. I'm doing my best at home and at work. It's because someone's unnecessary proud that wanting to live here makes me no choice but cut the food expenses. Or you could just make more money, then everything will be just what you want. When I make provocative remarks, William said, What the hell? Don't you dare say this to me. Just wait and see. I'll get another job at good company and make more money than you. William got angry. I thought I was enough to bear him like this, but if this sparkles William's motivation that I could endure, I convinced myself that it was fine. However, he was unable to find a new job in the first place, so he had to work part-time as a day laborer. Now that even he was motivated, he could not find a new job. I could understand if he had done a lot of studies and got a qualification, but he didn't do that. He just worked part-time. William was rejected by the interviewer for every interview, and he got tired of having to bow down to the interviewer who was younger than him. So he stopped looking for a job. He still believed that he could earn more money than me. But I was disappointed to him and already gave up. Besides, it's not just William that I'm worried about. Mention to this, I received another phone call earlier today. It was my mother-in-law, calling without hesitation in spite of the fact that I was at work. Just this morning, there were more than 10 calls left. When I returned the call during my lunch break, my mother-in-law's voice was high-pitched from the very first word. Why didn't you answer the phone right away? I told you the other day that I'm at work, didn't I? Come on! You call that working? My calls are the first priority. My mother-in-law lost her husband a year ago, and since then, she'd kept calling me a lot. I thought she must have been very lonely, so that I should support her. But all she says was something like, it's your duty to support husband, etc. And knowing that I recently started working, she got so angry. Kept calling me when I'm in work. Did you talk about that with William properly? You can't even reply my phone call. I'm sorry. It's difficult for us to live with you now. I'm not asking for your opinion. William won't object to it. No, William says it's still too difficult. Besides, we're having some financial issues. How can it be financial issues? William works for a big company. They pay him well, so you two are rich, right? I'm always at a loss for words when she says things like that. William has asked me not to tell my mother-in-law about the truth very insistently, so I can't tell her the truth. And then my mother-in-law says that I'm selfish to go working. And she thinks I'm lying about how hard it is to make ends meet. Well, I guess. My mother-in-law's phone calls are so annoying, not only when I'm at work, but also when I'm home at night. Most of the time, a wife's first priority should be to support her husband, and the way taking care of your husband means you should take care of his mother as well. You haven't come to see me at all lately. What's the matter of you? I work a full-time job and I'm exhausted. And William's doing part-time job on weekends. That's why our holidays don't match. I'm sorry. We're both so busy. It's hard to fit it into our schedules. I don't care about your schedule. Besides, William's off on weekends. You can come on weekends, right? My mother-in-law must be very frustrated and upset for a while and kept on talking like that. I thought it was time for me to give up. I tried to tell her the truth about William. No, William works on weekend. What do you mean? As a matter of fact, when I was about to tell the truth, William, who was lying on the sofa watching TV, ran up to me and took my phone. Mom, I'm sorry that I haven't been able to visit you lately. I'm working on a big project right now, and I've been working on weekends as well. I'll come visit you when I get settled. With that, he hung up the phone and headed back to me. What were you doing? What were you doing? Were you trying to tell my mom? That's just tell the truth. If you keep this up, she keeps saying things to me because she knows nothing. I'm sorry to hear that, but don't tell my mom that. That's enough. Just give up your pride and tell her the truth. Shut up. I'm the one make you survive, so thank me instead of talking back to me. Saying this, he went back to his room. I'm literally on the edge of collapse. I can't solve the financial problem. My husband and his mother have been pushing me so hard to the corner. It's enough. William says his day job is too much work and he doesn't do housework. But his job wasn't full-time. He works on weekends and once a week during the week. He is at the meridian of life. I'm sure he is capable to do something to increase the income, or at least learn to do some housework and take the lead on the chores. How come you do nothing at all at home, but ask me to do all the chores and other work? I'm enough to all his complaints and doing nothing, so I decided to leave home for a while. I decided to go back to my parents' place for a week to show William how hard the housework is. I had told my parents the detail of the current situation of us, and they told me that I should just get a divorce as soon as possible. But we were in love and then got married, and we had been married for 5 years. I didn't want to go through with the divorce so easily. If I was going to get a divorce, I was going to do everything I could to make this better. And if that didn't work, I would divorce him. When I went back to my parents' place, I got a phone call from William. When are you coming home? Where's my meal? I won't be home for a while, so you'll have to do all the housework while I'm gone. Don't be silly, just come home and do the chores. No, I won't. You know how hard it is to do the housework. You can clean the house, you do the laundry, you cook, you do everything yourself. It's important for you to understand how hard it is for me to do all the housework while I'm working. I said that and hung up. William kept calling, but I ignored them at all. Life at home was very comfortable for the first time in a long time. I could share the housework with my father and mother. My mother would say, "You must be tired," and serve us many home-cooked meals. I really appreciate that fact that I didn't have to do anything and the food came out automatically. And I spent about a week at my parents' house. Thought I already wanted to spend a little longer, but my parents' house is quite far from my office. It takes me an hour and a half each way to commute there, so it's not easy. I thought it was about time William understood how hard housework is. Then I finally came back to our home. I was worried that the house might be a dump, but then I realized the house was cleaner than I had expected. But here I felt something strange. No way, I thought. I went to see William's room. Clothes and suitcases in the closet were gone. I thought to myself, he must have gone to his mother, so I called him. "What are you calling me now?" "Where are you?" "I'm at my parents' house." "You didn't go to your parents' house right after I left, did you?" "That's right." "What are you doing? That doesn't make any sense. You shouldn't have left in the first place. I'm already upset. I'm not going back to that house." "What do you mean?" "I'm going to live with my mom. I'm going back to my parents' house." "Oh, and I'm not just going back. We're moving into a new apartment." "I have no idea what you're talking about." I was at a loss for words when the voice on the phone changed. "Hey, Grace. Do you have any idea what you've done? What kind of nerve do you have to abandon your duty as a wife and cause trouble for William? You're such a terrible wife. I'm gonna teach you a lesson." "Well, Mother, I have my reason for leaving." "It doesn't matter. We're going to move into a new nice apartment. If you want to come living with us, I'll tell you where the new place is." I'm sure my mother-in-law still doesn't know anything. Well, it's a good chance for me that she knows nothing. No. Thank you. What? I said no right away, so my mother-in-law was completely shocked. I'm saying that I'm not going. Oh, are you serious? If William is going to live with me, unless you come over here, you have to be alone. You can't live alone, can you? You've been relying on him. Don't worry, I earn enough to live on my own. If we don't live together, there's no need for us to be a couple. So I'm divorcing him. What? It might because I said the word divorce. I heard my mother-in-law and husband's surprised voice over the phone. Wait a minute, Grace. There's no need to mention divorce. I can't stay married to you anymore. I need to get rid of a horrible husband like you as soon as possible. When I gave him such a comment, my mother-in-law snapped. Hey, how dare you talk to William like that? We don't want a life like you either. So, yeah, okay, William, just get a divorce. No. I'll get divorce papers ready. What a bitch. I'll make you feel regret about this. And it's too late for apology. Same to you. When I said that, the phone were disconnected. My mother-in-law and her son will probably be here with the divorce papers. Thank God things are going the way I want them to. I'm thankful that William was not willing to improve at all and went back to his mother's place. That makes me easy to make up my mind. He is not going to change himself. Then there's no need for us to stay together. I decided to pack my bags waiting my mother-in-law's arrived. A few hours later, my mother-in-law came along. Oh, William isn't here? He doesn't have to show up. Here you go. I already had him fill out his own section. You fill out yours as soon as possible. She handed me the divorce papers saying that. Somehow I think the words in William's column are written in trembling letters. My William is such a wonderful man. Even though with a horrible wife like you, he's unreluctant to get a divorce. I'll never forgive you for causing trouble for such a wonderful person. I hope you live a poor life and regret it. While I was filling out with my part of the form, my mother-in-law didn't give up yelling at me. William's pride got in the way until the end. He couldn't tell his mother the truth. What a pathetic man he is. What happened to your house? I sold it. So if you want to come over, there's no place for you. No, I won't. How much did you get for it? It was old, so it must have been cheap. That's none of your business. But I'm telling you because I'm a good person. It was about $50,000. Not much, but it's enough for retirement life. William will pay for our new apartment. Whoa, so surprised you got approved. What are you talking about? William is a high-class person. It's a matter of course. So you put the money in William's account? How did you know that? That's not important. Stop asking this and that. Just a divorced woman. So obvious that you're still into him. But that's too late. Don't worry. I've already agreed to the divorce. I'll file the divorce papers. When I said that, my mother-in-law sniffed and laughed. I was overjoyed to be free from her and her son. I packed up the rest of my belongings and moved them to my parents' house. And I found and signed a contract for a single person's apartment when I would leave. By the way, I successfully provoked my mother-in-law, so I was able to get rid of the property. There's no way to give you William's property. Get used to it. I still remember how the pale face of William when we were discussing about the divisional property, which is funny to me even now. Then one day, about 2 years later, I received a call from an unknown number. Who could it be in the morning before work? I thought it might be the work-related call. I picked up the phone and, to my surprise, it was my ex-mother-in-law. Oh my Good Grace, please help me. Mother, you can't keep calling me like this. We're strangers now. Don't say that. I'm in trouble. Huh, you can't pay the rent and the savings are running low? How do you know that? He didn't tell you about the financial problem until you guys got broke, did he? Oh, you knew it. I knew it and tried to tell you many times, but every time I tried, William told me not to. I didn't realize that. I'm so sorry, Grace. I didn't know anything. I apologize, but please come back. I don't want to. He wouldn't change who he was, no matter how much I tried, and even you were always bullying me. I don't want to spend time with someone like you ever again. Please don't say that. I don't have anything to eat anymore. I'm really dying. According to my ex-mother-in-law, William has been trying to look good, and since then, he didn't tell her about the financial problem. He paid his rent out of the $50,000 that his mother had sold the family home for, and his mother would get suspicious if he didn't show his extravagance every once in a while. So he spent a lot of money on expensive groceries and fancy meals because he was living like that. He lost his $50,000 in no time, and now he's penniless. He got what he deserved, didn't he? Why don't you put away your pride and live modestly in a cheap apartment? No, it wasn't supposed to be like this. I was supposed to live a comfortable life with my elite son. My ex-mother-in-law cried like that. I quietly hung up the phone and blocked all the incoming calls. I also put a restraining order against her just in case I had to call the police. All they think about is leaning on someone else. Parents or children are so alike. I'm going to take a lesson from them. I'm trying to live independently. With that in mind, I got myself back on track, decided to focus on my own life. Keeping the truth out of sight, the husband who continues to live a life not balanced of his status, and the mother-in-law who blames only on her daughter-in-law without questioning her son. So happy that Grace could cut off such a terrible mother and son. I'm sure that she will be able to lead an independent life. I hope she can meet a wonderful man in the future. Let's wish her a happy life from now on. Thank you for watching till the end. Please subscribe to our channel if you like. See you in the next video. My name is Amy. I live with my husband, my daughter, and my mother-in-law. My father-in-law passed away early in his life, so my daughter has never met him. I also just met him a few times, but he passed away soon after. So I started living with my mother-in-law just a few years after we got married. My mother-in-law is very sweet to my daughter and my husband. Therefore, my daughter was closer to my mother-in-law rather than me. I was strict with my daughter and tried not to spoil her. So my daughter and my husband, who were spoiled by my mother-in-law, were very hard on me. I felt lonely every day because I didn't have a place for myself. My mother-in-law bought everything my daughter wanted. She spends my income without my permission and asks me to make ends meet with the money that is left over. My husband kept finding a job and quitting, so his salary was not stable and we were living mostly on my money. I told my husband, "Please get a job," but he would get upset and say, "I'm doing my best in my own way, so don't tell me what to do. You're working to pay the bills. I'm supporting you to do that. You should be grateful." I don't understand how he can say such a thing, as he is better than me. He must know that if my salary were to disappear, he would not be able to make a living. But they seem not to care about that, and they just keep spending the money. As my daughter got older, The things she wanted become more and more expensive. I would tell her to be careful, but of course she wouldn't listen to me. I have been wearing the same things for years. My mother-in-law buys my daughter new clothes every week, and she looks down on me. It's my money, but the one whom my daughter says thank you to is my mother-in-law who buys for her. And my daughter treats me like an enemy. She seemed to have forgotten that it was me who earned money. I sometimes wonder, am I wasting all my effort and time on everyone in this family? I just want to give up everything. But for the sake of my family, I was always thinking in circles and could not come up with an answer. And yet, my mother-in-law would spend money for my daughter, and my husband would spend his own salary for himself, so we had no savings. I sometimes felt afraid that we might not be able to make ends meet without borrowing money. Fortunately, we're not in debt yet, but if they keep buying my daughter whatever she wants, we will not be able to make a living in the near future. So I have warned my husband, mother-in-law, and daughter many times. You are non-blood relative to us. I won't let outsiders complain about us. How we use the money is not your business. That's how it ends up. I wonder who is spending the money earned by someone non-blood relative. Moreover, my husband said, "You want to say that you are earning the money, don't you? But what's wrong with spending it? We're just spending the money we have at home. We're not borrowing money, so what are you complaining about?" He would say things like that. My daughter will be laughing at me. She would say to me, "Work harder." I was depressed because I thought I had raised her wrong. I have to work and do housework every day, and it's really hard. But working makes me not think about my family, so I think it's the best thing to do. No matter what I say, there is no one in this house who will stand by me, no matter how busy I get at work. "Hey, Mill, hurry up." That's all. It's my fault that the housework is not done. It's my fault we don't have money. I can't take it anymore. I'm tired of working and I'm tired of being at home. I don't even have time to sleep. So even though I was mad at my family, I honestly did not have the energy to get angry with them. So I got into the habit of working before I got angry. But this life was taking a very heavy toll on my body. One day, my daughter said to me, "I want my pocket money. I'm going to high school now. Grandma does buy me things I want, but I don't have any money." I said, "Why do you need pocket money when you got what you want?" "You're so mean. Ugh, useless. That's why Grandma and Dad don't like you." She said so and went back to her room. Pocket money. I knew it. I knew that my mother-in-law was giving her pocket money from my salary. She said it was from her pension, but it was my money. My daughter didn't know about that, so she thinks I'm stingy. I don't care about that, but when my daughter's gone, she laughed at me and say, "You have to earn more money to make a living. Your daughter's on my side, so no one will listen to you." She smirked and said so. The stress piled up and I finally collapsed. The doctor told me I had a stomach ulcer. I needed to be hospitalized and the surgery as soon as possible. When I told my family about it, my mother-in-law said, "You're not that weak to be put in the hospital." Then my husband said, "You can't stay in the hospital. You have to work." When I saw their reaction, everything I had endured until then exploded at once. "Enough. I've been supporting you all this time, but I can't take it anymore. I'm leaving." That's all I said, and I left home. I completely cut myself off from them and stopped having anything to do with them. I asked my parents to bring me what I needed for my husband's day and to spend any other belongings to me, even if I had to pay cash on delivery. I also told the company that I wanted to make a new bank book for my salary. I made sure that the three of them could never touch my salary again. My parents said, "We're so sorry you had to endure this. When you finish the treatment, just come back. We'll have a good time living together," they said. I was so worried about going back to my home that I couldn't stay calm in the hospital, but after hearing that, I felt much better. I asked the hospital not to allow anyone but my parents to visit me while I was in the hospital, but neither my husband, mother-in-law, nor my daughter come to visit me. I had a lawyer to help me with everything I needed for my divorce, so that I never had to see them again. The stress was gone. My ex-family members seemed to be against divorce for some reason, saying it was never going to happen, but I don't care. I was at my limit. The division of property seemed to be quite difficult, but they had spent so much money that there was nothing left. So there wasn't much to share, which was easy for me. After I got out of the hospital, I continued to work at a company. Life with my parents was very calm. I didn't feel any stress at all. Until I was gone, they used to spend my money as they wanted, but now they couldn't do it anymore, so I am able to save up a lot of money. And I am able to refresh myself and go on vacations. I feel regret why I had not left earlier. One day, while I was enjoying my morning, after several years of divorce, my husband contacted me. He seemed to be very impatient. "Hey, we've been living on my money for a while, but it reached the limit. Our debts have gone up and we can't pay them back. We've been living as a husband and wife for so long, so you owe me, don't you? Give me some money." How dare he ask me for money? I was utterly disgusted. "Why don't you sell your daughter's various luxury items? Or sell yours and your mother's? Or the house? There are so many ways, aren't there?" When I told him, he got angry at me for being so heartless. I guess he forgot how they had treated me. "I clearly refuse about the money. I have nothing to do with you people anymore." When I told him that, "You're the only one I can count on. Please." My husband became weak. I had no sympathy for him though. I hung up the phone. Then my mother-in-law and my daughter called me. My mother-in-law said, "I was wrong about you until now. We had a very happy life because of you." My daughter said, "You gave birth to me, didn't you? Thank you, Mommy. Thank you for earning so much money for us. Let's get back to live together again." What the hell are they talking about now? I don't know what they're thinking. I was so fed up with this stupid family that doesn't even realize that it was too late for everything. And I rejected all incoming calls. I made up my mind to never get involved with them again. The next day, I got a call from the police. They said that my husband and my mother-in-law had stormed into the hospital where I used to be hospitalized, and they went into the ward where the patients were staying. "Where's my Amy? Come out!" and made a big fuss. The police arrived shortly after and seized them. They stayed overnight in the detention center. They asked me to take them in. I told him that I had nothing to do with them anymore and hung up the phone. I don't know what happened to the family after that, but from the looks of things, I guess the debt got too big and they couldn't do anything about it. Cockroaches are strong, so they may still be able to survive somewhere. By the way, I'm having a good time with my parents. I'm thinking of taking a trip to a hot spring with my family as a token of my gratitude. I didn't know that a peaceful life is such a blessing. I hope I can continue to live a calm life from now on.
I bought a high-rise condo in front of the station.
Wait, what? What do you mean? Why did he bring up that story all of a sudden? Besides, he purchased it?
It's great because they have a really nice view and the rooms are clean.
Wait, I don't quite understand. It's outrageous because he moved out of our current apartment and into a luxurious condo that he bought behind my back while I was staying at my parents' house. No kidding, where did that money come from? While I was panicked, he made no apologies and said,
I made a down payment with money gained by selling our...
What?
I'm gonna live with mom and dad in this great house. So I don't need a parasite like you.
He decided to live with his parents without consent and kicked me out. I got so speechless I didn't know where to start. My name is Sarah. I'm a pregnant 32-year-old housewife. I'm 8 months pregnant and counting down the days until I see my baby. My husband, Richard, is 3 years older than me, 35 years old, and he works for a major company. We got married 3 years ago, and I was really happy to finally get pregnant because we had been struggling to conceive for a while. But at the same time, I was terrified of my first childbirth every day, so I visited my husband's parents' house to relax. Sarah, you're gonna have a baby soon, huh? What's it like to become a mother? It hasn't hit me yet. The woman who talked to me like this is the wife of Richard's brother, Jane. She is the reason I visit my parents-in-law's home. I don't talk to my brother-in-law, but I make good friends with Jane because she is a housewife and lives with my parents-in-law. My mother-in-law got weak in the legs 2 years ago, and her family was worried that they would leave her alone at home during daytime. So, Jane, the wife of the eldest son, is looking after her. However, she just sometimes needs a cane a little when walking. She actually can take care of herself. But Jane is caring and also had worked as a caregiver, so as soon as she heard about the mother-in-law's legs, she agreed on taking care of her on the spot. I was impressed with how quickly she can make her decision. My brother and sister-in-law have a 5-year-old daughter already. Because she is a more experienced mother, seeing her can ease my anxiety about pregnancy and giving birth. Time has passed and now I have 1 month until my due date. I had been planning this for a long time, so I decided to visit my parents' home to prepare for giving birth. While my belly felt heavy, I enjoyed doing shopping for my baby and thinking about our new life. I felt relaxed, as it was the first time in a while to spend a long time at my parents' home, and it felt refreshing. As I spent time like that, I started to have contractions, 2 days after my due date. I tried to contact my husband, but he didn't pick up the phone or texted me back somehow. I first got worried that he was busy with work or he got in some trouble, but as my labor pains quickened, there was no time for that. All I could think about was giving birth to my baby. Then I had my baby safely. I gave birth to a cute baby girl. I held my adorable baby in my arms for the first time, and I felt I couldn't be happier. He was supposed to attend the birth of our baby, but he ended up not showing up to the hospital. Honestly, I wanted to complain to him, but I was too tired from giving birth to do that. So I decided to text him that I had given birth to a baby girl and fell asleep. I guess some time had passed. I woke up to hearing someone calling me.
Are you still asleep?
Huh? Richard? Is it morning already?
Are you half asleep? Get up, Sarah,
said my husband. When I opened my eyes, I also found his parents behind him. He said happily,
My parents came all the way. You've got to appreciate them.
Although I told him beforehand that I didn't want to see anyone as much as possible after giving birth, I wondered why he took his parents here on his own. Why didn't you come here without replying yesterday? I asked him with irritation.
It couldn't be helped, because I promised to go eat sushi with my parents yesterday.
What? He gave priority to that kind of thing? But you could come even after that, right?
Oh no, I drank a lot, so I thought there was no point of showing up drunk. So I was afraid I would be rather a trouble for you.
I can't believe it. He enjoyed drinking and having sushi while his wife was struggling. But he didn't even notice that I was irritated, and he asked me, "Where's our baby?" "She is in the nursery. She's a healthy baby girl." As soon as she heard me said so, my mother-in-law made a face. "What? A girl? Such a useless wife!" "What? What did she just say?" And my father-in-law also said, "Both Jane and Sarah blew it. You're pathetic." I can't believe it. He insulted me who went through giving birth rather than thanking me for it. Then even Richard said, "Oh damn it, I knew it was a girl."
But I was not sure, so I got my hopes up a little. But what the heck?
I didn't get why he was so disappointed. However, he said, "My parents had high hopes for us." I thought I didn't have to get worried about air things, as Richard is the second son, but they expected me to have a baby boy because the first grandchild was a girl. But it doesn't matter to me. For me, no matter what kind of child it is, my baby is the apple of my eye. He should feel the same way, but I couldn't stand him as he took his parents' side. Although I was seething with anger, I still felt so tired and sore after giving birth that I didn't even feel like getting angry. Then, a nurse considered my feelings and kicked them out of the room. Apparently, she heard our conversation through the wall. I wept tears and she comforted me. Since then, he never even came to see me in the hospital. Then, my daughter and I have reached the day of discharge. I had my parents come pick us up and went to their house because I didn't want to go home like it is. I wonder why he became such cold-hearted. I feel like he used to be more caring when we got married. What made him become such a person? It might be he really messed up at work 2 years ago and caused a big loss for the company. However, his colleagues made up for it, so he hadn't been called to account after all. But the fact that he dropped the ball made him off the track fast. He can't be back on his career track no matter how hard he works. It's possible that he got apathetic for this situation. That could be the reason he got cold to me even at home. On top of that, one of his colleagues became his boss. My husband was actually better at his work than that colleague when they joined the company, but their positions got reversed because of his mistake back then. I think he couldn't stand it. He started to get stressed about every little thing. Although I felt dissatisfied a little with him, I expected him to change himself when we had our baby, but he doesn't even seem to try. What's gonna happen to our family in the future? I feel overwhelmed with such anxiety. Richard gave me a call suddenly.
Hey, when are you coming back? You've been over there for almost 1 month already since you had a baby.
I wasn't really ready to come back home. Sorry, I'm coming home soon. It's time to turn over a new leaf and get it together for my daughter. Just when I thought so. I've got a lot of stuff for baby, so I want you to come pick us up if you can. When I said so, Richard said something shocking back.
No, you don't have to bring those stuff back. I just have business with you. Maybe I should have just told you to drop by here rather than to come back.
What do you mean? I just didn't get what he was trying to say. Then he told me an even more shocking fact.
I bought a high-rise condo in front of the station.
Wait, what? What do you mean? Why did he bring up that story all of a sudden? Besides, he bought it?
It's great because it's a really nice view and the rooms are clean.
Wait, I don't quite understand. He moved out of our current apartment and moved to the luxury condo he bought behind my back while I was staying at my parents' house. No kidding. Where did the money come from? You should not be able to take out a loan with your salary. While I was panicked, he made no apologies for saying,
I made a down payment again by selling our house.
I found out another new fact. Can he explain more simply, not just giving the facts little by little? It's confusing. What do you mean you sold our house? Where's your parents living now? When I asked him, he looked excited and answered at the drop of a hat.
Daddy and Mommy live with me in the condo now.
What?
I'm going to live with them in this great house, so I don't need a parasite like you. Get the hell out.
He decided to live with his parents without consent and kicked me out. I got so speechless I didn't know where to start. He started to call his parents daddy and mommy suddenly, and also told me the fact that they live together in the condo. On top of all that, he told me to get out like asking for a divorce. As I was left speechless, he continued,
You're cocky even though only a housewife. You're useless without my salary. Besides, you've always been a couch potato these days.
What is he talking about? That was only when I had terrible morning sickness. I had been quite busy until right before giving birth other than that. But he wouldn't stop.
Our baby also wasn't a boy. You're totally useless. Mom and Dad are also saying it's better to be with a younger woman who appears to be able to bear a boy rather than a woman like you. Also, they told me they didn't want to live with my brother and his wife together anymore. I'm keeping your stuff in a storage room, so go pick them up sometime soon. Well, that's about it. As for our divorce, I've just sent you divorce papers, so make sure you file them.
Then he hung up on me. I was too shocked and couldn't leave there for a while. Why did I get married to such a bastard? I can't help feeling that I made a really bad choice. But there's nothing I can really say. I have my daughter. I need to get it together for her. After coming to terms with myself for a little while, I made up my mind to cut the connection to him and start a brand new life. I'm not gonna let the bastard control my life anymore. Divorce? Bring it on. I'll make him understand which of us is gonna regret it more. Not to mention, my parents hit the ceiling when I told them about my situation. They agreed to help me to divorce him. As soon as I got divorce papers from him, I signed and filed them. After half a month, he suddenly visited my parents' house.
Hey, what the hell is going on? Why has this much money been withdrawn from my bank account?
He threw his bank book down on the table and yelled at me. But I stayed calm and said this to him. Don't you know the word division of property?
What? That's bullshit. The name for this bank book's account is mine. Plus, I'm not gonna give you even 1 cent.
Last time, I was just being bombarded with words, but I got better both physically and mentally after half a month. I won't be argued down like before. It's true that I put some money in your bank account, but it's our shared property. I actually put my money in the bank account too, so I'm gonna take my own money back.
Screw you. Why would I give you my money?
I got sick of him. Did you already forget? As your salary went down because of your stupid mistake at work, I started a side job at home.
But there's no way you earn that much.
Just so you know, I earned as much salary as you did.
What?
Anyway, I'm gonna have you divide our assets for sure. Plus, you are the one who asked first for a divorce, right? This conversation is now over.
You're freaking kidding me. I don't believe it.
When my father, who kept silent until then, heard him say that, he started to talk.
Well, how about we take it to court over this? Huh? How dare you insult my daughter? I can't help but feel sorry that my daughter had to go through such a rough time because of you, you bastard. Get out of here. Ugh.
My father is a policeman. Having gotten scared of his menacing look, Richard ran away from our house. That's how I broke off the relationship with him safely. We've also settled the issue of asset division. Since then, I've been working hard at raising my daughter, staying at my parents' home. I'm getting used to parenting, and above all, she's just too cute. I'm living a happy life with my cute baby girl. After a few months, I kept getting these unexpected calls from someone. I kept ignoring the calls as I didn't know the number, but they called me a few times, so maybe it's from my boss or colleagues. I decided to answer the call anyway. Hello?
Hello, Sarah?
It was actually Richard who called me. What do you want?
How are you doing?
Huh? I don't really want to talk with you about that. Can I hang up already?
Wait, can you come back here?
What?
I actually have trouble paying my mortgage for the condo and likely to be kicked out.
Oh, okay, well, I'm not surprised. You're short on cash or something, aren't you?
Yeah. I found myself using up all my savings. Daddy strained his back and has a terrible he had no choice but to quit his job. Mommy boasts to her friends about her life in the and always throws a
Haha, that's so your parents.
I'm at my wit's end with it and don't know what to do.
No wonder. He shouldn't be able to pass the home loan screening with his salary. I guess he was able to buy the condo with his savings, his father's salary, and a down payment on the loan. Now his father can't work, and what's worse, his mother spends lavishly, but he has to pay living expenses for them. There's no way he can pay off the condo.
Then I found out my bank balance was zero, and I was told to get out if I can't pay by next week. Please come back, Sarah. We loved each other once before.
After I laughed a lot, I spoke calmly. Give me a break. You just want to take advantage of me whenever you want, don't you? You're counting on my salary, and you just want someone like a housekeeper who does housework for you, no? When I said so, he fell silent. Also, you called me a parasite, didn't you? Would I not just be in the way?
Well, I just chose the wrong words at that time.
While he was making excuses, I remembered I had something that I'd been worried about. By the way, what about Jane and your brother?
They've already moved out and are living together now. He got in a fight with our parents. When my brother told Dad to live a more suitable, he lost his temper. Dad was like, I don't want to be told anything to do by someone who married to such a useless woman who couldn't even have a baby boy. Then my bro, who's usually calm, blew up. I heard he left the house saying, I'll cut you guys off if you keep making fun of my wife.
I see. Sounds like his brother is a decent person. Good to know that he cares about Jane.
Please come back, Sarah.
Are you stupid? Who would ever come back to you? I have my hands full only with taking care of my daughter. I can't afford to deal with jerks like you guys.
Jerks?
By the way, did you call your parents daddy and mommy at home? It's disgusting to act like that at your age.
Don't say stuff like that, please. You can take our daughter here.
What? Weren't you gonna live with our daughter when you first asked me?
Well, I mean...
Oh, I know. You don't even remember you had your daughter, do you? I would never take my daughter to such a despicable father. Do not ever call me again. If you ever show up again, I'll call the police. My dad is gonna arrest you. When I said so, he made a pathetic sound as if he remembered my dad's menacing look. But I ignored that, hung up, and blocked him. This time he called me with his new number. I changed mine too. A little later, Jane contacted me and we decided to meet up for the first time in a... I'm sorry for not contacting you for a long time. Actually, we moved to the country, so we've had a hard time arranging internet access to our house. Jane and her family have decided to live in the countryside in a peaceful setting. I was invited to her house for the first time and found it to be a very nice town with a rich natural atmosphere. I thought that if my child grew up in such an environment, she would be a very happy and good child. Incidentally, my brother-in-law told me about my ex-husband and ex-parents-in-law who were eventually evicted from their high-rise condo and left with a debt loan. But he has to provide for his parents on his own, and he's having a hard time making ends meet, basically living in the red every day. It was the cherry on top. I, on the other hand, work from home and live out of my parents' house. I can work anywhere, so today I'm going to go relax at Jane's house for a few days or so and then go home to my parents to spend some time with my daughter. When my daughter is a little older, we can move over here and live near Jane's. With such hopes for the future, I happily spend my days. Buying a high-rise condo while your wife is pregnant is crazy. Well, maybe if you're rich. It's too weird to do that with normal income. At any rate, I'm glad she got rid of such an unlikable husband. I hope you will continue to live happily with Jane and your parents, with everyone getting along together. Thank you for watching to the end. Please subscribe to our channel if you like. See you in the next video.